hospital called asking for my daughter, but I was holding her in my arms when they said, "We still have her here." I'm sorry, what? I looked down at Sophie, who was sitting on my lap eating goldfish crackers. The woman on the phone repeated herself slower. "We need you to come pick up Sophie Reeves from the pediatric ward. She's ready for discharge." My hand started shaking. My daughter was literally right here, wearing her purple dinosaur shirt. I told the woman there must be a mistake because Sophie was home with me. There was a long pause, then papers shuffling. The woman asked for Sophie's birth date, and I told her, March 15th, 2019. "Ma'am, our records show Sophie Reeves, born March 15th, 2019, was admitted 3 days ago after a playground incident. 3 days ago, Sophie had been at preschool. I'd picked her up at noon like always. She'd skinned her knee on the slide, but nothing that needed a hospital." I asked what playground incident, and the woman said Sophie had fallen from monkey bars and hit her head. A teacher named Deborah Mills from Little Sprouts Learning Center had brought her in. That was Sophie's preschool name, but there was no teacher named Deborah there. Sophie's teachers were Miss Patricia and Miss Gina. The woman insisted I needed to come immediately because they'd been trying to reach me for 2 days. I stared at my phone. No missed calls from any hospital. I drove to Riverside Memorial with Sophie in her car seat. The pediatric ward nurse looked up and her face went white when she saw us. Then another nurse came around the corner holding a little girl's hand. Brown hair, brown eyes, yellow butterfly shirt. The girl looked exactly like Sophie. Not similar, identical. The girl saw me and whispered, "Mommy?" Sophie squeezed my hand tighter. The nurses stared between the two girls asking which one was mine. I pointed to Sophie, but the other girl started crying and reaching for me. She'd been calling for her mommy for 3 days. I knelt down and looked at both girls. Same small scar on the left knee, same tiny birthmark behind the right ear, same chipped front tooth. I pulled up Sophie's sleeve to check the burn mark from when she'd touched the oven last year. Then I checked the other girl's arm. Same burn mark, same exact place. A doctor suggested DNA tests, but those would take days. The police were called. While waiting, I sat with both girls. Sophie stayed on my lap, but the other girl kept inching closer. She said a nice lady named Deborah brought her to the hospital after she fell, and Deborah promised mommy would come get her. I asked where she lived, and she described my house perfectly. The blue mailbox, the crack in the driveway, Sophie's bedroom, her stuffed animals, her favorite foods. She knew everything. The detective confirmed Deborah Mills didn't exist. The ID was fake. The school never verified her credentials because she was just a temporary substitute for 3 days. Nobody knew who she really was or where she'd gone. They ran fingerprints on both girls. The second girl had no matches, no records, no birth certificate. She didn't exist in any system. The detective suggested keeping both girls overnight for observation, but Sophie was terrified and I wasn't leaving her. The other girl screamed that I was her mommy too when security held her back. I drove home and checked every lock twice. Then I went through photos on my phone from the past few months. In one picture from the park 2 weeks ago, I saw her in the background. A little girl behind the fence watching us. Same brown hair, same yellow butterfly shirt, just standing there, staring at Sophie. She'd been watching us. I scrolled back further and found her in 3 more photos over the past month, always in the background, always watching, always wearing that yellow butterfly shirt that Sophie had lost at school.